Good day everyone, I'm Jimmy, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not, thank you so much for supporting us all this while. Just remember that every like and subscribe goes a long way in supporting our production. Well, in our previous January highlights, we left off with the $1,400 stimulus check. After all the dust from the short squeeze that happened last month to GameStop, very coincidentally, take a look at the big M formed. Well, just on the last Saturday of the month, the stock rose more than 200% again, taking the price of the stock to reach a high of $170 per share, with some severe fluctuations over the last 2 trading days of the month. Let's take a look at the chart. So, is this actually a W instead? All jokes aside, seriously though, Reddit celebrated Wall Street Bets with a 5 seconds ad on Super Bowl. There's some next level marketing done right, which is exactly what the users on Wall Street Bets have been advocating for, big players feeling the brunt of small retail investors. Well, it definitely has caused some disruption to the flows of capital around the markets, but right now, let me go get some tendies first before moving on to the next topic. At the start of the month, there has been rumors that the Democrats were reportedly considering sending $1,400 payments to individuals earning up to $50,000 and $2,800 to married couples earning up to $100,000 plus $1,400 per child, according to the Washington Post. That's a decrease from the first and second round of checks, which started phasing out at $75,000 for individuals and $150,000 for couples. Around 85% of Americans qualify for a payment under the earlier income threshold, which reduces to about 71% when decreased to the $50,000 threshold. Many Americans were in favor of Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID relief plan, and we speculate that this could have been one of the many reasons why Biden would emerge victorious over Trump. Hey, remember, votes aren't supposed to be rational in the first place, but I guess he had a clear vision, a clear plan, and outlined by his prospectus, in which we mentioned in the previous highlights for January. If you haven't watched it, pause this video and watch the first video now. This explains the recent uproar of many Americans over this sudden change in the promise that Biden made during his entire campaign, which brings us again to his commitment of a $2,000 stimulus check being sent out of the door during Georgia's Senate runoff elections, a 30% drop in the amount in which Americans could have received. I wonder how many people would already have felt cheated in a sense, but there's still some money left on the table. Anyway, at the end of the day, the House of Democrats does not plan to adjust the income limit, and most importantly, the eligibility criteria will be based on the adjusted gross income from 2019 and 2020, essentially answering to the uproar of the middle class as mentioned above. Oh, and before I forget, the month closed out with the House passing a $1.9 trillion stimulus package on the last Saturday of the month, which will head directly to the Senate. What a start to a new month as we march into an economy with a greater possibility of this bill ending up on President Biden's desk. The money printers are definitely getting ready, and of course, do expect us to do our due coverage upon the latest updates as well. Moving on, some great news from SpaceX, as it seems to be accepting orders for Starlink internet services for just $99 a month. Add on $499 for the Starlink kit including shipping. For those who have been following SpaceX for quite some time and have witnessed its successes and failures, all rumors of a possible IPO have been thoroughly dismissed throughout the years. However, this time round, the founder, CEO, CTO, and chief designer of SpaceX, Elon Musk, seems to be eyeing for an IPO for Starlink once they are able to predict cash flows reasonably well. I guess, fundamentally speaking, it will make sense for such internet provider services to be measured with the normal projections of revenue, crunch rates, etc., just like any other telcos providing such services per se. Just some statistics. The Federal Communications Commission has already given green light 2 years ago for SpaceX to launch 11,943 satellites as the company looks to further deploy over 4,000 more into the orbit by the next 3 years. Till date, it has launched more than 1,000 Starlink satellites and is looking to produce more advanced versions. SpaceX also disclosed in an FCC filing that Starlink has over 10,000 users in the United States and abroad, approximately 3 months into the public beta. Is that considered a lot? Maybe not, considering the market for such services are already pretty much saturated, with so many of such businesses offering competitive rates with relative high speed and low latency. One thing to note that Starlink has been promoting their businesses to rural areas and remote communities, as they are not constrained by the traditional ground infrastructure with cables all over the place, when the satellites above are 60 times closer to Earth than traditional satellites too. This is where it has a competitive advantage over the hottest players in the market such as Telesat, Hubble, and even OneWeb, which is currently SpaceX's closest competitor that secured additional funding from SoftBank and Hughes last month that will bring its total funding to $1.4 billion. This will enable it to compete with SpaceX, as OneWeb looks to launch over 648 first-generation satellites that are fully funded by 2022. Nevertheless, the man with many hats is indeed playing it safe by choosing to IPO a likely profitable wing of SpaceX, as its ambitious project to build an interconnected internet network with thousands of satellites, known as a constellation, designed to deliver high-speed internet to consumers anywhere on the planet. I think that this is going to be a hit once it actually IPOs, and lots of hot money that has nowhere to go might very well flow into this stock instead. Who knows, this could be SpaceX's teaser entrance into the $1 trillion stock market, once again enticing investors and fund managers to relook at their stock portfolios. So what's in for you viewers out there? Before I get you all FOMO'd, check out this video for more information on how you could possibly get in on this Starlink IPO, even way before the news hit Wall Street and every single newspaper in town. A quick disclaimer though, opinions expressed are solely of that channel and do not express the views or opinions of ours. We have not and will only initiate coverage upon further consolidation of research and the news. In our opinion, this is an interesting point of view for all the viewers out there. Lastly, looking at the markets, the week leading up to the end of the month saw a huge sell-off across all three major indices in the US, almost erasing the entire month's worth of gains. Tech sector suffered the worst of corrections across all other sectors. Investors have been speculating the risk of faster inflation and rising long-term interest rates pose a threat to the record high equity market valuations. There's quite a bit of analysis for these sudden minor corrections, and in our next video, we'll be looking into the actions of several individuals and how things could potentially pan out from this. That's all for our quick take of events that occurred in February, and do leave any questions at the bottom and we'll try our best to answer them thoroughly. Thanks for watching and invest safe.